met through computers. We're real people and our relationships are real.
People can share their own thoughts and feelings, experiences, talents.
Media is global today in a way that it never was before. It is going to have fundamental impact on the way the world works.
The well was just a big bulletin board. For some reason, the bulletin boards, which kind of preceded the internet in terms of places where people hung out online, have been forgotten, as near as I can tell. But I was paying attention to them, and there were starting to be what were then called conference systems, like EYES, and then we had CompuServe and The Source, and the well was just a very local, kind of jumped-up bulletin board.
Ultimately, the well were real people who became part of my life. In fact, babysat for my daughter. I was at their weddings. I went to their funerals. I sat by their deathbeds.
You know, this became a world that was deeply connected to the real world. The local and the online were blended in, I think, a way that turned out to be helpful. And you see that, you know, since then with meetups and whatnot, that the online world wants to not just reference the physical world, but encourage the physical world.
There are critics of online communities, of even relationships via Facebook and all these types of contemporary online relationships. And can you describe why an online community can be conceived of as a community?
Well, first of all, I think it's always important to think critically about our technologies and our enthusiasms, and there are some serious questions to ask about online relationships. But there have been many instances in which there are people, for different reasons, they're sick, or they're in a scary part of town where they don't want to leave their apartment at night, or maybe they're older and they don't get around that much, or like myself and many others, I work at home. Where am I going to get my relationships? Am I go to a bar or a coffee house, or do I log on online?
Regardless of whether you think, social technology and the internet is good or bad, it is. This is what, the genie is out of the bottle. And I think that's an amazing thing.
The biggest thing is it's two-way. Yeah. It's not broadcast.
There's an engagement there that you don't get from watching TV. You can't talk back. That's the big thing we're seeing with brands and companies and we were surprised because they jumped into Twitter and they started engaging immediately. One of the first examples we saw was this large cable company here in the U.S. There was a popular blogger, and he also had a Twitter account, and he was complaining that his cable was out, and he's like, I'm going to write about this cable company, Comcast, and how terrible they are, and it's going to be the #1 search result in search engines for years to come. And they were monitoring Twitter's search for any mentions of their brand name, and they saw that within a few minutes, and they replied to him on Twitter, and they said, what seems to be the problem? Maybe we can send a van out to your house. And they had his cable fixed in 30 minutes, so the next day the blog post was, Comcast is great customer service. And it was like a complete reversal, and we were like, wow, they're really smart about it. And so over and over again, companies are just jumping in, engaging with customers, and it's great for the customers too.
This shift to understanding how to leverage a technology platform to have a conversation with a customer at scale is a huge shift in business. We don't yet really understand how big a deal this is.
So as people are actually learning how to use social technologies, they are using them in all sorts of ways. So of course, social technology is going to have a massive impact in terms of how people organize politically, what they do economically, and how they express themselves as being unique individuals in a social way.
I I started out, I did quite a lot of shows like that. I did one at the Roundhouse in Camden where it's literally just an invitation on Facebook to a lot of friends that are into my stuff, and then on MySpace as well, and then it just kind of spreads out. And then the first one, you know, there's X amount of people there, they go off and tell their friends, and it's just, you know, it's slow and it's long. But I could have just gone, loads of money, marketing, posters everywhere, I'm performing here at this time, and, you know, got that amount of people to come straight away. But it's more real, I suppose, if you do it yourself, because you know that they're coming to see you because they want to see you, not because it's been forced in their face.
So fundamentally, again, social technologies are reflective of human nature, whether it's, you know, connecting you to the people that you know or connecting you to people around the things that you care about. And when you look at it in that context, everything that people are doing in terms of learning how to connect with other people online is towards a common goal. So whether that common goal is sharing news articles for fun, or, you know, entertaining themselves by listening to amazing music in the context of a artist fan site or an artist website or a MySpace page or a Facebook fan page, all of those skills can actually be used for anything.
Well, there's something else, like you mentioned before, that you use the web to work with producers, you use the web to work with music makers.
Yeah.
And do you think that's a part of the personal aspect of the web? I mean, are they fans, or are they people who are seeking to produce music?
I'm both,
it is?
man. Like I believe the internet's full of, you know, it's music lovers in general, and just because you work in music doesn't mean you stop loving music. I'm also a music lover, and I'm a fan, and I go on as a fan online as well as an artist, and in doing that, I meet other people that do the same thing that are also artists. So it's like a big community online with up-and-coming rappers, singers, musicians, producers, and you know, if you can literally just bond with a lot of these people online, i.e. with the kind of style of music that they're doing. And then, you know, with my producer, Labyrinth, I met him via a friend, but we really made a connection online and kept in contact online. And from then on, you know, it's history. We made an amazing album and created a sound together.
You can be sitting at your house in your pajamas, and you can actually impact the lives of someone sitting in a country hundreds of thousands of miles away that is wrought with political strife. You can say, I'm here, I'm listening to you. One of our Ning networks is the Congo Wall, which was created by Eve Ensler, who had just gotten back from the Congo with her V-Day organization, where women are being brutalized as a means of fighting a war. And the fact of the matter is, they feel alone. And with social technology, women from all over the world could come to this Ning network and leave a message for the women of the Congo. You're not alone.
When you start seeing everyday life from everyday people on the streets, no matter what country they live in, I think it adds a very personal element to that people can connect with. And they start understanding that they have families, they have feelings, they have dreams, just like I do, and not hearing just the biased stories that they would tune in and see on the news.
People trying to find new, interesting ways to communicate, become more efficient, become more engaged, become more informed, and I think it leads ultimately to having more empathy, to understanding more about what other people are, what's happening with other people, and sort of putting yourself in their shoes more often, because you're engaging with them.
The social web can do more good in the world than it can do bad. And it's the choice of people and the people who are using it as to what they want to do with it. It is the most empowering generational shift that has ever happened. 25 years ago, we didn't have a way to impact the world in one single instant. Today we do, and it's through the internet.
you.